Welcome to the 9th Annual Salvation Army Tin Cup Benefit Luncheon. I'm Bill Anker, Chairman of the Janesville Salvation Army Advisory Board. It was 7.5 years ago that I first became a member of the local board, and in those years I've seen firsthand the work and service the Janesville Corps Community Center. I've also seen the people whose lives have been changed for the good because of their involvement with this international faith-based organization. Today's event is simple. Soup kitchen style lunch that has two main purposes. One, to get the word out, and two, to bring the funds and the resources in. The word is the message of what the Salvation Army continues to do, day in and day out, for those in our area with specific needs. And it goes out to you and to everyone in North Rock County on the printed annual report that is on your table. And the funds come in through this event. Today's Tin Cup lunch is one of several fundraisers that generate immediate and future resources, enabling us to keep doing what we do for our neighbors in need. So, thank you for coming to be part of this important event. Right now, I'd like to introduce Major Ruth Fay, who will give us some instructions on how serving the soups will take place and offer a prayer for our food.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you everyone for coming and supporting this wonderful event. And I just want you to know that this is the third straight year that this includes a cook-off. Before we just had soup, because it represented our soup kitchen style luncheon that we have at the Salvation Army. Now, this competition, you're going to participate in it, okay? Everybody here got a red ticket, right? So you get to taste all the soups. That's going to be a challenge this year because we have people who said, we want to be part of this soup competition. And so there's several soups over there. Look in your program. And we want you to taste them all. So just take a little bit. See that red cup? That's going to go home with you. We don't want to wash it in between all the soups. So there's liners there. So every time you take a different soup, just take a different liner and taste them all, then vote, and then go back and get a big cup of soup of the one you really, really like, okay? I don't know if that's true. But we have 5 kitchens represented. We have Best Events, Blackhawk Technical College, Festival Foods, the Janesville Country Club, in Conway, and O'Reilly's Pub. Let's say thank you to our wonderful soup sponsors. Now you're going to try a little bit of each one of them again, and then you're going to vote over here for your favorite soup. So they're listed here. That's the People's Choice Award. And then we have some austere, wonderful judges. They have come from far and wide. Our very own city manager, Mark Freitag, right here, has come to be one of our judges. Yay, Mark! And then our deputy, we want to welcome you, and I got to ask both of you, did you vote already?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now you can eat. Okay, so it is the day of the election of our country, our free country, and it's a wonderful gift that we have. And then Faith Colas has come from our headquarters. Faith, would you raise your hand? So these 3 are going to be judges. We'll introduce them again, and they will do our Judges Award. So before I pray, take your red cup in hand. That is your weapon of choice. Okay? And you get to take that home. And just hold that cup and think about what it would mean to be on the streets and not be able to have that cup filled with a cup of soup and not to be able to afford something to eat. In America, we try our best to have no one go hungry. But the people who come to the Salvation Army to eat lunch, it's more than a cup of soup. It's more than a meal. It's a hug. We love you. We appreciate you. We want you to be here. It's the fellowship of that noon meal. We serve in the evenings, our evening on Monday nights and Thursday nights, and the children. It means much more than something to eat. It means they belong to a community. And at each lunch, we have a time of praying for them and their families, their needs, and getting to know one another. And so we're going to ask you now to bow your heads and just thank the Lord for our wonderful, free country and for what we get to do in serving others. Thank you, Lord, today, because you have come and given to us so many blessings. We are allowed to bless others. By coming together and having this fun event of a soup cook-off, there are people at the Salvation Army that are eating right now because the money that is used there. There are people in our housing, Lord. There are people that we meet each day to give them a hand up and remind them that they are worthy of the community, of support, and also that they are going to be able to give back to this community in some significant way, and they are on their pathway of hope. We pray now, Lord, for the food and the fellowship around these tables. Help us to encourage one another. In your name, amen.
Coming to what's the 9th annual Janesville Salvation Army Tin Cup Lunch Benefit. As Bill stated, our purpose is twofold: to get the message out and to bring the resources in. And each year, this event has done just that, due in no small part to generous sponsors, some of whom have been on our Tin Cup Lunch program all 9 years that we've been in existence. And we appreciate all the things that they do to continue not only this event, but the ministries and activities of the Salvation Army. We want to just very quickly make mention of those sponsors. They're printed in your bulletin, and we say a special thank you to our Platinum Cup sponsors, Gary and Sherry Ackerman, to our Gold Cup sponsors, Chambers and Owen Wholesale Distributors, and John and Sue Owen, to our Silver Cup sponsor, Wisconsin Riverbank, and to several Bronze Cup sponsors, Alliant Energy, Blackhawk Community Credit Union, Bonfman, E.L. Rothschild, Culligan, Festival Foods, Mercy Health Systems, Rock Road Companies, Inc., and Frank Silla and Sons, Incorporated. To these and all of you who purchased a ticket for the Tin Cup sponsor, we say a heartfelt thank you. You're helping us to make our mark on Janesville one life at a time. I'm really pleased to be able to say that Ruth and I, as the officers of the Salvation Army, have been able to be at 6 of the 9 Tin Cup luncheons, and that's pretty exciting for us. Our first event in February of 2011 was to arrive at the Salvation Army in the midst of that snowstorm. Remember the blizzard? February 1st, 2011. We beat all of our belongings here by about 14 days. So we got to know Janesville pretty well, and the first big community meeting that we had that year was the Tin Cup Luncheon. As you may know, officers that are assigned to Salvation Army locations across the country get changed all too often. Depends upon the changing needs of the community, it depends upon the changing Salvation Army throughout the territory. But the one essential ingredient that provides continuity and direction for the ongoing work of the Salvation Army in any given community are our local advisory boards. These groups are made up of business owners and professional people, of community leaders and interested individuals, all of whom have their finger on the pulse of community need, and who bring their insight and expertise to assist Salvation Army leaders in ongoing programs and activities. The membership of the Janesville Salvation Army Board is listed on that single sheet annual report on your table in front of you. And some of those names have been members for a long, long time. Others of our advisory board members are new to the list this year, and we appreciate all of the work that they do. Will all of the board members of the Salvation Army who are present here today, if you would just stand up and be recognized, we want to express our appreciation for the work they do. Many of them are on the serving line, they're already standing up, but the others who are here to stand up, just stand up.
Janesville is one of the few Salvation Armies that's blessed to have another advisory organization that gives countless hours of service and tireless work, generates thousands of dollars to benefit the Salvation Army's programs and ministries. Our Women's Auxiliary, and many of you just went through the craft sale and bought all your new craft and fabric supplies, and Women's Auxiliary with over 140 members here in this community of Janesville. They work tirelessly to help us out. I'm going to just give a little plug. If you didn't pick up a little flyer for your flowers just before Mother's Day, this is the other fundraiser that they have, and we have some posters that you can put up at your business, and it's a 2016 flower sale. All the money goes towards the work of the youth and the programming. If you see our truck that goes around and picks up donations from Festival, Chambers and Owens, that is purchased by the Salvation Army Women's Auxiliary. Now, if you're a Women's Auxiliary member, some of you are serving in the line, you want to stand and we want to recognize you. A lot of them came and set up ahead of time. We want to say thank you to our Women's Auxiliary. And just a reminder, these flowers are grown pretty local, so they are used to our weather. And you just put down a pre-sale and you can pick them up, and it's at Creston Park. You can pick those up and just from May 4th to the 7th. Does that sound like a commercial? I hope so, because I want you to be part of that. They're the best flowers in Janesville.
At this event every year, it's been our privilege to be able to present our annual report. Not that we want to read through it or go detailed step by step through all the numbers and all of the information, but to be able to simply provide a quick synopsis or story of what the Salvation Army is able to do in this community. The header of the report this year says, "We're changing our world, making our mark on Janesville since 1885. And that's a pretty remarkable thing if you realize that the Salvation Army as an international organization was founded in 1865 in London, England. And in 20 years, its influence had so spread through Europe and the Scandinavian countries that many of the immigrants who came to this new land brought their connection to Salvation Army here, and little Salvation Army groups sprung up all through the upper Midwest. We have been providing services to the residents of the Janesville, North Rock County area every year consistently since 1885. That's 130 years of local service. And for those 130 years, when the people of Janesville and Milton area reach out to neighbors in need, they're often doing so through the work and ministries of the Salvation Army. On the cover letter of the annual report, we simply say, though our work usually begins with meeting immediate or temporal needs, it rarely ends there, because lasting change requires spiritual transformation, and that's the focus of Salvation Salvation Army ministry. Central to our mission is a holistic ministry that moves beyond the moment's crisis to address deeper and spiritual hungers. That mission began in the slums of 19th century London with William Booth's characteristically practical approach. One of the early mottos of the Salvation Army was soup, soap, and salvation. Feed them up, clean them up, and save them. Help the body and save the soul. Those things are best seen in the love for God moving men and women to care for other people. And we are so blessed to be able to be part of the Salvation Army, whose mission continues to be to meet human needs without discrimination.
If you look at your annual report, this is our annual time to save to the community, and this is available on our website, available to the community. You will see much of that care is summarized and presented in the activity information in numbers, and it says seasonal and holiday assistance. That's when we're most visible. But the ongoing and year-round direct assistance comes in our emergency services and our transitional housing. We have activities and ministries, our community center, and our worship and Christian education in our youth. Our band today, one of the young men who started playing the horn, he was a young man that was on a troubled path, and the music of the Salvation Army kind of has redirected him and stabilized him in a very chaotic home. We are thankful to the Salvation Army that is supported by you, that we can make a difference in children's lives and family lives, and making them to be on the pathway of hope.
I do hope you take a few minutes to look at those numbers, maybe not right now because you're too busy with the third or fourth bowl of soup and the second dessert. And we encourage you to do that. But the numbers do tell a very wonderful story. And those activities and those numbers are possible only because of the generous support that we receive from businesses and people in our area. There has often been a misconception that the Salvation Army, because it's an international organization, there's this great big pot of resources that's kept somewhere, who knows where, and when specific needs come up, we just submit the request and we get what we need from that collective pot. That's not true. What we do in Janesville and in the North Rock County area is dependent upon and supported by the generous support of donors and residents of our community who've seen a difference in the lives of people because of those things. There's just a quick little synopsis of the numbers. You will see that in 2015, our overall income was $1,660,000. Our expenses were slightly more than that. There is some cash reserves that we were able to draw upon. And much of that dollar amount consisted of in-kind donations that we received, tangible goods that are received by the Salvation Army and distributed to those who are in need. It's all reflected in those numbers, and if you're interested in more detailed information, we'd be happy to make those available. We do say thank you for the support that we get from this community so that we can continue to serve in this community.
It goes without saying, but if you know me in the least bit of way, I'm going to say it anyway. But I want to say none of this would be possible without the hard work of our small but dedicated staff. Julie, you probably know Julie because she is our special events volunteer coordinator, and she heads up this event. And we missed Sue Owen this year. She had come off the board, but Sue and Julie started the event. Julie, stand up. You want to appreciate Sue? It's with great admiration, and I said it, and I'll say it again. The Tim McGraw song about being humble and kind. If you haven't heard it, please listen to it. That embodies who Julie is. She's humble and kind. She's going to be doing a job change here in Janesville. As of Friday, she'll be moving on to ECHO, and she'll be a case manager over there. And she has a degree in social work, and I thought that she finally figured out that that's actually what she wanted to do, is use her degree. And we will miss her greatly at the Salvation Army, and we want to say thank you. We also have Verna. Yeah, we'll say thank you again. Don't cry, Julie. You're so great. We have Verna's here. Where is Verna? And where is she? She's out there checking in, and Deidre was part of our staff, and small staff that we have and producing the numbers that we do. It's because of the volunteers that keep the Salvation Army going. And we say thank you to those volunteers. If you got to come here today as a volunteer, we say thank you for doing what you do. And there's just a few people back at the Salvation Army keeping the doors open so we can have lunch today. Actually, we have a volunteer cook and our social service director, Tammy.
The statistics are reported in the hundreds and the thousands. The dollars are reported in the hundreds and the thousands. The title of the report says, "We're changing the world and making our mark in Janesville." And you will know that the best way to make a mark in any community is to make a mark in the lives of people. And that's one at a time. It's not by the hundreds or by the thousands. It's by the individuals. And so we are very, very pleased today that in making a mark, we can highlight individuals whose lives have been truly changed.
Now, we have Ann, who is one of our caseworkers, and Ann is one of those who makes a difference in people's lives, one story at a time, one visit at a time. She's going to come up here and bring Michael, and she's going to introduce our speaker. We have, I think there's so many people who could tell their story of how the Salvation Army has impacted their lives, but this year Ann has chosen Michael to be that one. So come on up here, Ann. We're going to introduce Michael, and we're going to read them. You know, when you're nervous to speak, you just, it's just the way it is. You just give the person a hug, and then they can do their job. Here we go, Ann.
Hi, I'm Ann. I'm a case manager at Salvation Army. I've been there 6 years now, and it's probably the best job I've ever had. I love it here. Today we have Michael Hall. Michael came to us a couple years ago. We've known him off and on, but he came to us this last summer in need, and we were able to assist him. He's in our transitional housing program right now, and he's really come a long way, and he's here to tell his story.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Michael Hall. I would like to share what brought me to Salvation Army and what the blessings been for me. I'm a very proud man and have always been successful. And so recently I played in the band, and one night I returned home and discovered that my roommate had moved out on me. And we were behind on rent, and there was no way I could afford to pay rent by myself, so I was evicted. I was upset, stressed, and ready to cry because I had no idea what I was going to do, and now I was homeless. I knew a little bit about the Salvation Army because I used a food pantry a few times in the past. So I went to Salvation Army, I met with Ann, and she smiled at me and said, "Take a deep breath and count to 10, everything will be okay." That's Ann. And after calming down, I began to talk to Ann about my situation and how I came to what was going on that day. I tried to hide my hurt and my anger, but Ann saw right through it. Anyway, I had went to other agencies and asked them for help and got turned down, so I wasn't really expecting anything. I expected everything to be different again when I went there, but I was surprised. After Ann and I talked a little longer, she left me in the office and said she'd be right back. And she went in and talked to Tammy the whole time. I was sitting there thinking the worst. I had used a lot of my money to fix my truck, which still did not run. And I'm still working on it. And I was going back. I wasn't going to check for a couple of weeks yet. And I had no more money left, no support system, nothing to do. No way to turn for help. And, well, my surprise, I went back again to see Ann. I went back in the office and she said, "Okay, Michael, here's what we're going to do for you." Salvation Army put me up in a motel for a week and gave me some assignments to do while I was in the motel that week. I had to call the landlord and try to find a new place to live and make payment arrangements for fine. And I had to meet with Ann on a budget, and because my truck was not running, she provided me with bus tokens, which made me feel good because it's too old to be walking that far. Anyway, after being in the motel for about 2 weeks, I found an apartment to rent. I lived in the apartment for about 6 months. I ended up leaving there because the pipes was broken, the steps was rotting, and I felt it was going to hurt my ankle and foot. The landlord refused to fix anything in the apartment. It was unable for the city because it was going to be the city and evicted me. Again, I was about to be homeless. And anyway, so I went to see Ann again. I was angry, upset, and desperate. And I talked for a while and discussed what I had to gain and what I had to lose when I got angry. And she made me feel safe, which is really important to me because I was to the point where I was stressing really bad. I wasn't thinking straight. And there again was that smile, count to 10, calm down, everything's going to be all right. And for me, taking advice from a younger woman, being an older man, oh boy, that's hard to live down. But I did, and I thank her for that. So once again, she went in and talked to Tammy and came back out and told me after meeting with her and discuss the transitional living program. And at this time, I was still able to stay in the apartment, but Tammy wasn't aware that I was there for a short period of time. I met with Ann the next day after discussing expectations of the program. I completed the paperwork with a few more meetings with both Ann and Tammy. Told me that I was accepted in the transitional house living program and that I would be moving in. So which made me feel really great. And all in all, I'd like to say this in closing. I told Ann I wanted to go back to school to get my GED, and I wanted counseling, and I need help with my anger. And because I was tired of people making promises, and then I would fall through or fail through or go through what they asked me to do, and the time come for me to do it, I got kicked in the face. So I got to the point where I didn't trust anybody. But Ann made me see that not all people are bad. She opened up my eyes to a lot of things I was blind to, and for her, for that I thank her a lot. Major Bob's been a factor too in my life, and that means a lot to me too. But I want to thank the Salvation Army and all the people who does all the good work around here and help people like me that needs help. And I want you to know, Mr. Brown, and everybody who on the staff that's here, you guys are my angel on this earth. Thank you.
That is not easy to tell the story, but the rest of the story is yet to come. And we're looking forward to Michael being a wonderful, self-sufficient, happy man that he truly is.
We're really blessed to have a facility like we have, the Pathways Transitional Housing. It's a 6-unit apartment building. You wouldn't even know it if you drove past it. It's not institutionalized, but it's specially designed to provide residential facilities for homeless adults who are trying to get their feet on the ground, and Michael is one of many who are living in the apartment and doing a wonderful job. And we thank the Lord, and we thank our supporters for making it possible for the Salvation Army to do this. Each year it's been our privilege to invite to this particular event a person of note and significance to be a guest speaker. And I'm honored this year to be able to introduce to you Mr. Brian Stenzel. Brian serves the business neighborhoods, Brian serves as the Community Involvement Director for Festival Foods. They are one of our newest business neighbors in Rock County. Prior to working at Festival Foods, Brian was the Regional Director for Promotions and Marketing for Cumulus Broadcasting in northeastern Wisconsin. That's where we first crossed paths. Brian has worked with several large community events, such as the Festival Foods Turkey Trot, the Bell and Run, the Cellcom Green Bay Marathon. He serves on the board of directors for My Team Triumph and the My Brother's Keeper organizations. And we are pleased today to have Brian come and share with us some insight from his position now at Festival Foods. Greet with me, if you would, please, Brian Stenzel.
How about another hand for Michael? That's not easy to say, and he's got his goals, he's got his vision, he's right on his way. Thank you for having me today. As Major Bob had mentioned, I had worked with Majors Bob and Ruth Bay in Green Bay. for kids. Drive up there for many years, did a lot of good in that community, and that was my first real insight into the Salvation Army, and it's been an important part ever since, so thank you for having me. As you see on the screen, one of the sayings we have at Festival is we don't want to just go into a community, do business, and leave it at that. We want to become a part of the community. And we think supporting the Salvation Army is definitely an important way to do that. So since we are new to the area, I want to give you guys a little brief history on our company. This is how it all started. Paul Scogan had a 3,000 square foot store in Onalaska, Wisconsin that he bought with $500 of borrowed money. That's him in the picture, trying to be funny, fishing in the puddle out front. That was their home that was attached to it. So the kids would actually go in the store and dribble basketballs up and down the aisle and roller skate around. That's how our company started. Over time, Dave Scogan took over the business, and it became Scogan's IGA. Got a little bit bigger, added a few more stores, expanded a little bit into the Onalaska La Crosse area, up into Holman, which in 1985 they opened a 45,000 square foot store, which was the biggest in that side of the state at the time. From the Scogan's IGA, the Scogan family then bought into a chain of grocery stores called Festival Foods. Festival Foods is a franchise, not a whole lot different than a McDonald's or a Subway. There is a blueprint on how to do things, and the Scogans thought that they were doing it right. So what they did then is they bought into the franchise, built their first Festival Foods in Onalaska, then moved to Marshfield, and then Green Bay West. As of October of last year, we opened a store here in Janesville. Later this week, we're opening one in Madison, and we should be at 25 stores by the end of this year, including Menasha, Summers, which is near Kenosha, and Green Bay North. Here are a couple pictures of the IGA into a Jubilee, which became Festival, and then a couple of our newest storefronts that look very similar to our Janesville store. A couple pictures of the inside of our stores. We like to have clean, bright stores, everything very neat, orderly, easy to shop, very convenient for our guests. At Festival Foods, our culture is huge. It's something that drives our business. Not only what we do each day by putting groceries on the shelves, but what we do each day as human beings going to a job. The grocery store used to be the central hub where people would go and just kind of hang out, get to know each other, find out what's going on in the community. And we, even though we're much bigger than those old stores, we like to think that we help drive that community and that goodwill with our friendly associates. So the way it all started, back in that early little store you saw, people used to, at times, buy grocery on credit, and their credit would be a little charge slip, just a piece of paper saying, Sam came in, bought groceries today, it came up to $12, wasn't able to pay it today, we're going to just write it on a little slip. Well, Paul Scogan, knowing that some people in time of need weren't able to pay those bills, would just randomly grab some of those charge slips and rip them up. That's how the philanthropic part of Festival Foods started, right there. Dave Scogan then took over, built the company, made it much bigger, and that he's the one that kind of set the rule that we're not just going to go into a community and do business. We're going to become a part of that community. We're going to make that community better. We're going to do what we can as a good business partner to improve life in every city we're in. now with Mark Scogan, who's our CEO, he's the third generation, he's challenging us even further. We don't want to just make an impact, we want to be the impact that changes people's lives. So we get involved in a lot of different things, a lot of different ways. I'll kind of go through and give you a little bit of a history of some of the stuff we do. But we like to support a lot of things that provide basic needs. We encourage our associates to volunteer where manpower is needed. We want to, again, be involved. It's not just something we say, it's something we encourage our people to do, it's something we want people to take pride in. We don't want them to say, well, yeah, it's part of my job description, I'm going to go here and I'm going to volunteer for an hour or two. We want people to feel that passion. And if they're the right people for our company, as many nonprofits as we can, we think we have the same vision as many of them. We also support a lot of the regional sports teams, a lot like the entertainment list you saw. We think it's very important to keep that fun side of the community as well. We hang our hat on our festival foods fireworks. We don't think there's a much better way for a family to enjoy something that's free than to go see a good fireworks show. It's pretty much a staple of a Wisconsin summer, not only just around 4th of July, but all summer long. There's quality shows throughout the state. Just for the 4th of July, we have 17 different fireworks shows throughout the state, including Shake the Lake, which is over in Madison, Celebrate on Alaska, Chicken Fest, which is up in Darboy, and then Independence Day on the Rock right here in Janesville. That's an interesting story. When we first decided we were going to build here in Janesville, just calling around, seeing how we can get involved, we talked with Rock Aqua Jays, and they said, yeah, we heard you like doing fireworks shows. And I said, well, we like getting involved in the community. That's our big number one, but we do that through fireworks shows. And then he described to me how he didn't think their show had more than a year or two left. They just weren't making the revenue that they thought they would off of it. They didn't think with a lower budget that they would be able to put on a show that was worthy of Janesville. So that's when we decided right away we're not going to just partner with Rock Aqua Jays. We wanted to give them that assurance that they could take the show to the next level. They could concentrate on other things around the festivity and grow it. So we told them we don't want to just come in and help you out with 1 year. We decided we were going to do a 5-year agreement, and that way they didn't have to worry about it. The next 5 years they could count on us as a partner. After year 1, talking with Tim Cullen from Rock Aqua Jays, on paper we're a 5-year partner. I think we're going to be a partner from here on out. They've been a great partner for us. We also do the Festival Foods Turkey Trot. We try to do that in every market we can do it in. I'm happy to say we're going to try to bring one here to Janesville this fall. Right now we're at 8 communities. That would be our 9th. We've raised over $1.5 million doing this, and the money goes to the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA, and it would also go to ECHO here because we'd be partnering with their existing turkey trot right now. But it also brings a community together. The beauty of this is it starts a brand new tradition. We found in every market that we've brought the turkey trot to, families now put it on their calendar. That's how they start Thanksgiving Day. They get, their friends, family, people from out of town who are coming back to visit for the holidays. They bring their pet out. They just decide this is how we are starting it from here on out. This last year we had a Packers game on the same day. We didn't know how it would affect the event. We thought it could be catastrophic. We thought, 40, 50, 60% of the people might say it's too big of a day. Thanksgiving, Packer game, Brett Favre being inducted. We were down, but we were only down 12%. And in our mind, with everything that was going on, that just kind of shows the tradition that's become in the community. And we're happy to say we're working really hard to bring it here this next year. So that brings brings us to the Salvation Army. We do, in our business, we do what's called icons. What icons are is our cashiers and front-end team ask our guests if they'd like to donate to specific organizations. Part of our model at Festival Foods is we want to make sure you have an enjoyable shopping experience while you're there, so we try to keep that to a minimum. We want to find a happy balance between shopping without any solicitation and also helping our community. So we allow 4 of these icon sales throughout the year. Each store has some say on 3 of them. One of them is a mandatory icon sale, and that is the Salvation Army. We do the red kettle up front in our lobby. We try to do all of ours in our cart lobby. We don't want people outside in the cold. We want them inside where they can enjoy themselves. We encourage, some will bring out music and they'll dance around the kettle and stuff. Here are a couple of our associates that we encourage helping out when they can. And as you can see, this is one city. We raise quite a bit of money in the red kettles when we do that, and we make sure everybody's having fun. What you see on the left is why this has become more of an icon. We found as people have developed a habit of paying more with credit or debit cards, they don't carry as much cash, we started a tear strip system. So people can pay for their donation to the Red Kettle right at our registers. So it's kind of hard to see on this one, but you can see right under the monitor there's a little example of it. There's a $1 and a $5 scan that they just hand to the cashier, and then they've just made their donation. So we try to make it as easy as possible, thinking the end goal is to raise as much money as we can while keeping it convenient for our guests. Here's a picture of our CEO and a couple dignitaries in the Green Bay area, along with our big cart, which you might have saw out in the parking lot, and the giant red kettle. The reason this is in here is to show it's not just a few people. This is everybody from myself, cashiers, people behind the scenes, maintenance, to our CEO. The Salvation Army means a lot to our company. Here he is again on the inside of the Swamico store this last year to help launch the Red Kettle campaign. So that's a brief overview of what we do at Festival Foods. Thank you for having me. We're very excited to be here in Janesville. We're very excited to continue partnering with the Salvation Army. I mean, as you could see by Michael's story, the Salvation Army does a lot of very good things in the area, and we're happy to be a partner with them. Thank you.
We are blessed and pleased to be able to say Festival Food is a partner. I can't tell you how excited Ruth and I were when we found out Festival was coming to Janesville. It's kind of a strange way my mind thinks, but I look at vacant lots or I look at the development sites, and the first thing that I think of is that a potential kettle location for Christmas time? And when we saw Festival was planning on coming, we thought that's for sure a kettle location. It had been successful every place it's been. So we thank you for your support, for being part of our community in a major way. You've had opportunity to taste all of the soups, I hope. Most everybody's put a little red tag in the election thing, and we want to announce the top soup and the People's Choice soups today. You want to do that first?
Yeah, I do. I can preempt him.
That way I get the last word.
Actually, Julie's going to come up here, and she's going to, because she's worked with these different companies, and usually our guest speaker is one of the judges, but Brian, Festival Food provided a soup, and we thank you for that, so we couldn't let you or any of your team be part of that. Kevin, aren't you the manager of our Janesville Youth? Let's welcome you. Thank you, Kevin, for all your work that you do here.
So we have been really lucky to have, and we had a board member who worked really hard with us, and that's Eric back there, and he worked really hard in getting some extra businesses to bring soups to us, so it gave us that extra excitement, lots of different soups to taste from lots of different places. So it really was a wonderful thing. We had Best Events that gave us a soup. We had Blackhawk Technical College, the culinary school, and they gave us 2 soups. And we had that gave us a soup. We had the Janesville Country Club, and they had a soup there, and Conway's and O'Reilly's Pub. So we had 5 wonderful businesses that were able to give us soups for this competition, and I think it only made the competition even better this year. So we thank them very much for the soups, for bringing the soups to us. We also have most of the recipes except one of the soups that you had today are in this cookbook. So the first 5 soups are the soups recipes, so you can go home and make the soups, unless of course you don't cook. And then we have a lot of other soup recipes from different Salvation Armies from around the country and around the world. We have some wonderful ones from Europe, Australia, and South America. And so this is your gift. Take this home, make some soups, and really enjoy it, especially because the winters here in Wisconsin are very long. And we wanted to thank a special thank you to Rick and Jack's Custom Printing, because Jack's Custom Printing printed these for us for free. So, and they are always such a wonderful partner. We appreciate it very, very much. Thank you, thank you.
And the envelope says, first of all, People's Choice. That's the one that you voted for. We all had a chance to eat them. Everybody voted. And we've got these crystal bowls here that are inscribed with the award recipient, or the award title. And the first one is the People's Choice Award for today. And that's going to go to Chef Chris from Best Events, the potato kale sausage soup. That
I want you to know it's the first time I liked kale.
Well, as always, we've been involved with this competition for quite some time now. I personally have been doing it for at least 4 years, and it's always an honor and something that we look forward to. Best Events and Can Do, also being a non-for-profit organization in the community, always look forward to lending a helping hand to any other non-for-profits or any other cause that can help benefit our community as a whole. So this is something that we look forward to every year, and it's always a great honor, so thank you very, very much.
And the judges have selected a top soup for today. Should we bring the judges up? Okay. Very good.
Faith, Mark.
Very good. I suppose we were all judges when it comes to the People's Choice, but all of the soups were, yeah, these are our celebrity judges, and they selected the soup. It was the stuffed green pepper soup made by Festival Foods, and they are the top soup award recipients.
Besides being a grocery store and the community outreach that Brian mentioned, we do a lot of catering as well through our deli. So if you ever have a business need or a community need, please look for us as well. Thank you.
In our closing remarks before Bob has a word of prayer, we want to say thank you to our volunteer band. Rob O'Shea and Danielle are part of our local Salvation Army Church, and Rob is our divisional music director, and he works with the Wisconsin Upper Michigan musicians, and he also directs, am I right? Or are you part of the Rock County Band?
I'm part of the Rock County.
You're part of it, but you get to direct a number. So,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, there you go. So Rob is, by his education, a musician, and we're glad that he and his family are part of this community Salvation Army and all that took place here. And Major Bob's going to come and close in prayer. We want to say thank you again very much from the people who their lives are changed because of your help and your sponsorship. I wish I could bring everybody here so they could say thank you. You could see the lives that are changed, and it sounds kind of hokey, like our lives really changed, but they really are. When you're given hope and love, and that's the message of the Salvation Army. Those are the two things that people need most. They really need the hope that tomorrow is going to be better, and they need the love of each one of us. And if we could get that message to each person, I think our world would change, wouldn't it? And I don't think that we want to just diminish the love of God that makes a difference in everyone's life.
Will you stand together with me, and we'll close our time together with just a word of prayer, asking God's blessing upon all that we've seen and heard, all that we've had, and all that we have to share. Again, God, we pause to say thank you for the ways in which you work in our lives. We thank you for the opportunity today that you've allowed our paths to cross with one another. As we have enjoyed the soups that have been prepared and the delicious desserts that were part of our experience this afternoon, we are mindful of how blessed we truly are. We pray, Lord God, that your blessing would be upon the families from this community who don't often have the blessings that are ours. We pray that you would continue to enable us to do what we can to demonstrate your love and to serve them in practical ways. For we know that in serving them, we are serving you. Strengthen us and bless us as we go from this place to do just that, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you for coming. God bless you.